First, he's charged with corporate espionage. He stole Stark Industries' technology for personal gain. For corporate espionage, he will pay a $5 million fine and serve 10 years in prison for stealing valuable intellectual property.
Tony, are you there?
Easy, easy. Killing the golden goose. But you see, it was just fate that you survived that. You had one last golden egg to give.
Second, he's charged with the attempted murder of Tony Stark. He conspired to eliminate his business rival. For attempted murder, he will serve 15 years in prison and pay a $10 million fine for plotting to take a life. Third, he's charged with unauthorized use of a weaponized suit. He operated the Ironmonger suit illegally. For using the weaponized suit without authorization, he will serve 20 years in prison and pay a $15 million fine for endangering the public.
Have you seen these pictures? Huh? What's going on?
Tony, you can't afford to be this naive.
You know when I was naive before, when they said, here's the line, we don't cross it, this is how we do business.
Fourth, he's charged with terrorist activities. He attempted to sell advanced weaponry to hostile groups. For engaging in terrorist activities, he will serve 25 years in prison and pay a $20 million fine for jeopardizing national security. In total, Obadiah Stane will serve a combined 70 years in prison, with fines totaling $50 million. This should serve as a reminder of the consequences of his ruthless ambition.
You will be punished for your insolence. You will be brought before the Führer himself!
First, he's charged with terrorism and mass murder. He orchestrated numerous acts of violence and mass killings. For terrorism and mass murder, he will serve life in prison without the possibility of parole for his heinous crimes.
Your Hydra division has failed to deliver so much as a rifle in over a year. And we had learned through local intelligence you had mounted a full-scale incursion into Norway.
Second, he's charged with conspiracy as the leader of Hydra. He plotted to seize power and control entire nations. For leading the Hydra conspiracy, he will serve an additional 50 years in prison, ensuring he can never threaten society again.
But still he is no closer to achieving his goals. Science, but I understand your confusion. Great power has always baffled primitive men.
Third, he's charged with unlawful possession of advanced weapons. He developed and used devastating weaponry. For unlawful possession of advanced weapons, he will serve 25 years in prison and pay a $10 million fine for endangering global security.
What are we taking, everybody? I'm from Fresno, eh?
The tree line is northwest, 80 yards past the gate. Get out fast and give him hell. I'll meet you guys in the clearing with anybody else I find.
Wait.
Fourth, he's charged with kidnapping and forced labor. He abducted countless individuals and subjected them to cruel conditions. For kidnapping and forced labor, he will serve an additional 30 years in prison and pay a $5 million fine for his inhumane treatment of others. In total, Red Skull will serve life in prison without the possibility of parole, along with an additional 105 years in prison and fines totaling $15 million. This should serve as a permanent reminder of the consequences of his malevolent actions.
After all I've done for you.
So you're the one who showed us the way into Asgard.
That was just a bit of fun, really. To ruin my brother's big day.
First, Loki is charged with intergalactic war crimes. He instigated a war that caused massive destruction and loss of life. For intergalactic war crimes, he will serve life in a high-security interdimensional prison for his role in causing widespread devastation.
I'm gonna grab a quick slice.
Second, he's charged with the theft of the Tesseract, a powerful cosmic artifact. He stole it for his malevolent plans. For stealing the Tesseract, he will serve an additional 50 years in prison and pay a $50 million fine for his unlawful acquisition of the artifact.
You have heart.
Third, he's charged with manipulation of minds and control. He used his scepter to control innocent individuals. For manipulation of minds and control, he will serve an additional 20 years in prison and pay a $20 million fine for violating personal autonomy. Fourth, he's charged with invasion of Earth. He led an alien army in an attack on New York City. For invading Earth, he will serve an additional 30 years in prison and pay a $30 million fine for endangering the planet. In total, Loki will serve life in a high-security interdimensional prison, along with an additional 100 years in prison and fines totaling $100 million. This should serve as a lasting reminder of the consequences of his malevolent actions.